In the United States, the phrase, "In God we trust," adorns the back of the U.S. dollar bill. Nevertheless, controversy rages to this day about America's Christian heritage and the true intent of the Founding Fathers. America's education system clearly represented the beliefs of some of the earliest founders and leaders. James Edward Oglethorpe established the colony of Georgia in 1732, in part as a refuge for persecuted Protestants from Europe. As the first settlers touched the shoreline, they knelt and declared, "Our end in leaving our native country is not to gain riches and honor, but singly this, to live wholly for the glory of God." William Penn, the founder of Pennsylvania, wrote, "If thou wouldst rule well, thou must rule for God. And to do that, thou must be ruled by him. Those who will not be governed by God will be ruled by tyrants." Jonathan Trumbull, the British governor of Connecticut, who became sympathetic to the American cause in 1773, said, "If you ask an American, who is his master, he will tell you he has none, nor any governor but Jesus Christ." George Washington, on May 12, 1779, addressed the Delaware Indian chiefs who had brought their children to be educated in American schools. Washington said to them, "You do well to wish to learn our arts and ways of life, and above all, the religion of Jesus Christ. Congress will do everything they can to assist you in this wise intention." Twice appointed Secretary of State Daniel Webster said, "If the power of the gospel is not felt throughout the length and breadth of the land, anarchy and misrule, degradation and misery, corruption and darkness will reign without mitigation or end." Noah Webster, whose famous Webster's Dictionary is a legacy to this day, said, "No truth is more evident to my mind than that the Christian religion must be the basis of any government intended to secure the rights and privileges of a free people. All the miseries and evils which men suffer from vice, crime, ambition, injustice, oppression, slavery, and war proceed from their despising or neglecting the precepts contained in the Bible." Samuel Adams, in The Rights of the Colonists in 1772, wrote, "The rights of the colonists as Christians may be best understood by reading and carefully studying the institution of the great lawgiver and head of the Christian Church, which are to be found clearly written in the New Testament." At a 4th of July celebration in 1837, President John Quincy Adams asked, "Why is it that next to the birthday of the Savior of the world, your most joyous and most venerated festival returns on this day? Is it not that in the chain of human events, the birthday of the nation is indissolubly linked with the birthday of the Savior? Is it not that the Declaration of Independence laid the cornerstone of human government upon the first precepts of Christianity?" The Reverend Jedediah Morse, father of Samuel B. Morse, who developed the Morse code, said, "To the kindly influence of Christianity, we owe that degree of civil freedom and political and social happiness which mankind now enjoys. In proportion as the genuine effects of Christianity are diminished in any nation, either through unbelief or the corruption of its doctrines, in the same proportion will the people of the nation recede from the blessings of genuine freedom and approximate the miseries of complete despotism." President Andrew Jackson, concerning the Bible, plainly said, "That book, sir, is the rock upon which our republic rests." In 1831, a Frenchman named Alex de Tocqueville came to America to research the American prison system. He came to learn why his own country, France, had so many prisons, while America had so few. In his now famous work, Democracy in America, he would later write, "There is no country in the whole world in which the Christian religion retains a greater influence over the souls of men than in America. The Americans combine the notions of Christianity and of liberty so intimately in their minds that it is impossible to make them conceive the one without the other. Upon my arrival in the United States, the religious aspect of the country was the first thing that struck my attention. In France, I had almost always seen the spirit of religion and the spirit of freedom pursuing courses diametrically opposed to each other. But in America, I found that they were intimately united and that they reigned in common over the same country. Yet with so many declarations about the Christian faith, history bears witness of what might be called the tares among the wheat. Famed Russian author and Nobel Prize winner Alexander Solzhenitsyn wrote of the calamities that afflicted his people in the bloody wake of the Russian Revolution. At one point, he said, "Over half a century ago, while I was still a child, I recall hearing a number of old people offer the following explanation for the great disasters that had befallen Russia. Men have forgotten God, they said. That's why all this has happened." Since then, I have spent well nigh 50 years working on the history of our revolution. But if I were asked today to formulate as concisely as possible the main cause of the ruinous revolution that swallowed up some 60 million of our people, I could not put it more accurately than to repeat, men have forgotten God. That's why all this has happened.